Hi dear friends, welcome back to Akshadhare. I hope you guys are enjoying study and enjoying learning. Today is 22nd June 2023. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the National Yoga International Yoga Day yesterday, and I hope you guys have just at least had uh, had the yoga for some time on the occasion of International Yoga Day. So today, let's to start the newspaper reading. So just before going to start the newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. If you like the video, please share with your friends so they can utilize the opportunities. So which are the opportunities we are providing. So let's start the newspaper reading. Yes, guys, let's start the newspaper reading. Let's see what's in the front page of the Hindu newspaper, which we refer each and every day for the point of examination. What is this? This is the front page. It's not. SL lists plea to euthanize stray dogs. Government may offer 40% of lost salary as pension. Manipur violence a deep wound. Sonia. Government launches a portal seeking suggestions on Bengaluru development. HCSC denies relief to ED in Tamil Nadu minister's case. Why this is? Here left. Let's go to the next page. Don't know what is the issue over this. Hotelier is keen to get on ONDC platform to cut down service charge and commission cost. Compared to major food aggregators, the Open Network Digital Commerce, which works on open source methodology, brings down the cost of home delivered food. Driven by Drivers Union, Namma Yatri makes inroad through ONDC. 45-year-old auto rickshaw driver succumbs to injuries. Rapido case survivor files complaints with KSCW and NCW. Man arrested for vandalizing church. DSK George dodges questions on BBMP polls. With the HC granting 12 weeks time to the state government to redraw ward boundaries, it is unlikely that election will be held in the next 3 months. Congress sources say government may delay BBMP polls till Lok Sabha elections. Delimitation Committee for BBMP wards. DPI forms panel to resolve plaints on sexual harassment. Encroachments. There appears to be no coordination in BBMP, says HC. Search for rise. Government to decide launch date by weekend after weighing in options. Shah promises to speak to Goyal. Weighing factor for state is high transport cost. The cost of rice procured even from Andhra Pradesh will go behind target price of 36.6 a kg. No QR temples for those aged above 65. Fitness come training program for 71st time MLAs. Yoga camps will be conducted in schools across state. Minister. PSI recruitment scam. 52 candidates debarred permanently. As many as 52 among 545 police sub-inspector post candidates were permanently deferred on Wednesday after the investigation into the recruitment scam indicted them. Director General of Police Kamal Pant issued the order after the charge sheet against the accused was filed. The department also sought clarification from the accused before deferring them permanently from taking any exam conducted by the police department henceforth. Apart from devouring the 42 candidates, accused candidates permanently, cases have also been booked in Bangalore, Kalabuki, Balidawad, Tumku, and other parts of the states, and FIRs have been filed against them. The accused were allegedly found to have used Bluetooth devices and other electronic devices to commit malpractices during the exam, while some others tampered with the OMR sheets. Some candidates had even sent impersonators to write the exam on their behalf, a senior police officer said. Xiaomi moves the division bench of its C Han Caesar of 5,551.27 crore. Still is a plea to euthanize rabid stray dogs in Kerala. A vacation bench of Justice Surya Kant and M.M.S. Sundaresh list case for July 12 and issues the formal notice. Court says that the death of a 11-year-old following stray dog attack is an unfortunate incident. Yes, they must do something to for stray dogs. HC notice to government on establishment of committees. DCF suspended for allowing illegal felling of trees in Kodagu. Appointment of Lokanath as UOM's VC State, University of Mysore State. More HIT than Miss in India, Nepal ties. Let's go to the editorial page. On his return to Kathmandu after concluding his 4-day official visit to India, Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda described it as successful. He has reason to be satisfied. This is Prachanda's third stint as Prime Minister, and compared to his earlier official visits in 2008 and 2016, the visit in 2023 has delivered many more concrete outcomes. But what is more important is that many controversial issues were successfully skirted. Prachanda's politics under Prachanda's leadership, the Maoist Centre had fought the elections last year in coalition with the Nepali Congress. There was a falling out over claims to the post of Prime Minister, and Prachanda switched sides to team up with the SKP Sharma Oli led UML. Prachanda was sworn in as Prime Minister on December 26. However, the NC decided to support Prachanda in a vote of confidence, suggesting that since he had emerged as a consensus prime minister supported by 268 members in a 275-member House, he should also go for a national consensus political president. Though Prajanda had earlier agreed to support UML candidates for the post of president due for election in March and Speaker in return for making him a prime minister, he began to backtrack. Relations between Mr. Holi and Prachanda soured with Mr. Oli accusing Prachanda of betrayal and Prachanda claiming that he wanted to ensure political stability by taking all parties along. The opportunistic Oli Prachanda alliance collapsed, and by end February, the UML withdrew support. In order to stay in power, Prachanda went back to the NC ready to support its candidates for president. On March 20, NC returned the favor by helping Prachanda win a fresh vote of confidence with the UML sulking in the opposition. A complex power sharing arrangement has been worked out with Prachanda continuing as Prime Minister for 2 years, followed by the Madhav Nepal CPN Unified Socialist for a year, and then the NC leader Sheikh Bahadur Dehbadoba for the remaining 2 years. Nepal's transition to a federal republic it began in 2008 with the abolition of the Mayan monarchy and the election of a new constituent assembly has been politically tumultuous but largely peaceful. Following the adoption of a new constitution in 2015, two rounds of elections have been held. In 2017 and last November, hopefully the current coalition has enough incentive to hold it together, providing an opportunity to the government to focus on the economy. During his path-breaking visit to Nepal in August 2014, Prime Minister Modi had invoked an neighborhood first to denote a new beginning in relations to highlight the focus on connectivity. He coined the acronym HIT, covering highways, infoways, and transways. However, relations took a downturn in 2015 with the economic blockade. Repairing the relationship has been a slow process, but results are now visible, leading Mr. Modi to recall and revive the old acronym. Hydropower cooperation. For years, there have been statements about cooperation in the hydropower sector, but gradually things are looking up. Nepal is endowed with an economically viable potential of 50,000 megawatt of hydropower, but till a decade ago had an installed capacity of barely 1,200 megawatt, making it dependent on electricity imports from India. Today, Nepal has an installed capacity of 2200 megawatt and in season can export power to India. A 400 kilowatt transmission is now operational. In 2021, Nepal made a modest beginning by exporting 39 megawatt. The following year, it went up to 452 megawatt, handing Nepali rupees 11 billion in export earnings. In the lean less season, Nepal does import power from India, but its dependence has dropped from 20% to 10% during the last 5 years. But sides have finalized a long-term power trade agreement targeting the export of 10,000 megawatt within a 10-year time frame. The 900 megawatt Harun third project started in 2018 by the SJVN, formerly the Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam, will be operational later this year. In addition, it signed a memorandum of understanding MOUs for the 695 megawatt Harun 6th project last year. The National Hydroelectric Power Corporation signed two projects last year, a total of 1,200 megawatt. During the visit, announcements were made by about the SJVN signing the 669 megawatt Lower Arun project and the NHPC Limited, the 480 megawatt Pukot Karnali projects. To keep pace, work has begun on a second high voltage transmission line between Butwal and Gorakhpur. Two more have been planned under a line of credit of 679 million by agreeing to the Nepali demand for the facility to export electricity to Bangladesh using the Indian grid. India has highlighted the prospects for sub-regional cooperation to facilitate the movement of goods and people. The Rupaidiha Nepalganj integrated checkpost was inaugurated. Work began on the Sunauli Bairahawa integrated checkpost and an MOU signed for another at Dodhara Ganchani. There is a plan to extend the Janagar Kurta railway line inaugurated last year, while more links are to be taken up. After the Motihari Amling Khunja petroleum pipeline was operationalized in 2019, work has begun to extend it to Chitwan and an MOU for a new pipeline between Joppa and Siliguri signed, which includes terminals and other infrastructure. Negotiations on these projects have been time consuming. The challenge is to ensure their implementation on time. avoiding irritants. The fact that both sides are successfully avoided controversial issues and public disagreements went a long way in keeping the focus on economic ties and ensuring that the Prajanta visit was successful. Of the three difficult issues, two are of recent origin, and the third is a legacy issue. The latest issue is the Agnipath scheme that impacts the recruitment of Gurkha soldiers into the Indian Army's Gurkha Regiment, a practice that began in 1816 by the British Indian Army. It- this was continued under a 1947 treaty based on equal treatment. The Agnipath revision of the terms needs to be discussed between the two armies and the defense and financial financial officials consent, but a resolution is possible given the traditional ties between the two services. The record is the Kalapani boundary issue that was deliberately stoked as a nationalist cause by Mr. Oli in 2020 when his position as Prime Minister was been under threat. A constitutional amendment was pushed through and Nepal's map changed unilaterally. Resolving this will need time because a lasting solution will need political wisdom and understanding. The legacy issue is the India-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950. In Nepal, conviction has taken root that the treaty is unfair as it was imposed somehow. This ignore the reality that in 1949 the Nepali region was perturbed by the Maoist revolution in China and the subsequent takeover of Tibet. It sought an understanding with India. India and the 1950 treaty in large measure reflects the provisions of the 1923 treaty between Nepal and British India. In fact, the treaty enables the Nepali nationals equal treatment in terms of employment and permits them to apply for any government job except for the Indian Foreign Service, the Indian Administrative Service and the Indian Police Service. Nepali nationals work in the Indian private and public sector, have joined the revenue services and in the army, have risen to become two-star generals. The demand to review the treaty was officially raised first in 1995. In 1996, it was on the agenda of the PAN Secretary's meeting. Subsequent summits have concluded a reference to review and update it, but substantive talks have not taken place. However, some of the cobwebs of history needs to be cleared so that discussions can take place in an objective manner that addresses the concerns of both countries. For the present, as Mr. Modi and President have demonstrated, the focus on HIT will go a long way in rebuilding trust. This is about the India-China relationship status, which is now. The spare a thought for psychiatric caregivers too. According to National Health Mission estimates, 6 to 7% of India's population suffers from mental disorders. That is, one in four families is likely to have at least one member with a behavioral or mental health disorders. The situation worsened during the COVID 19 pandemic as long periods of isolation, the fear of losing loved ones, financial difficulty, and uncertainty about the future increased stress level across social segments. Most of these cases remain untreated due to ignorance and social stigma. In the absence of visible proof of illness, deviations in behavior are generally attributed to attitudinal issues, mental troubles, financial problems, or job stress, while love affairs and examination stress are cited as the usual culprits. In the case of teenage behavioral issues, without proper diagnosis, the patient and their families keep suffering as mental health responses remain mired in myths, stigmas, and taboos. Causes for caregiver stress. Over 90% of psychiatric patients in India live with their families. The caregiver is under considerable stress because of the physical and emotional caregiving along with the social isolation. financial difficulties and troublesome behavior of the patient. A patient's non-adherence to treatment prevalent in such cases further exacerbates caregivers' stress. In larger families, the primary caregiver burden is shared among family members, but with a reducing family sizes, the role falls on the spouse. Chronic mental illness in a nuclear household disrupts daily life and drains family resources. Moreover, women caregivers face challenges in balancing caregiving, career, child caring, and household chores, and are less likely to receive informal support for psychiatric treatment. Prolonged caregiving negatively impacts psychological well-being of caregivers. Caregivers use various strategies to cope, which include sharing spirituality, hobbies, and self-gas highlighting, but unhealthy coping mechanisms can negatively impact both caregivers and patients. Hence, the importance of caring for the family caregivers. Counseling services are currently provided to caregivers on a request. This is not sufficient as the situation of the caregiver is similar to that of the boiling pool, where the individual might not be aware of the emotional strain and else will not request for support. Structured intervention is essential. The National Mental Health Program and the decentralized district mental health program remain focused on the patient but neglect the caregiver. Given the prolonged distress experienced by caregivers, it is essential to introduce a structured intervention program to educate and support the caregivers of psychiatric patients. It should educate them about the illness and the roles and responsibilities, leading to a better sense of control over their own life and helping to cope with the caregiver role. Studies in developed countries show that providing support to family caregivers at the onset of the psychiatric illness of loved ones is crucial for the success of the intervention. Successful intervention models include cognitive behavioral therapy, psychoeducational skill building, family counseling, and P2P support. In psychoeducational meetings with the families, the topics covered include a brief overview of the condition, current symptoms, early warning signal of relapse, available therapies and their effectiveness, safety of treatment, typical side effects, treatment related to related expenses, border identification, and coping mechanisms. Caregivers receive behavioral interventions, counseling, and helplines to manage anxiety and stress. A preliminary inquiry into the preparedness of healthcare systems to provide caregiver support raises multiple concerns. A lack of trained specialists hinders cost effective intervention. Model implementation. India has 43 state run mental health institutions with 3,800 psychiatrists and 900 clinical psychologists. That is one psychiatrist and psychologist for every 4 lakh and 16 lakh citizens, respectively. Insufficient budget allocation for mental health patients and raises concerns of developing intervention for psychiatric caregivers. The gaps in insurance. Though private mental health institutions provide some PILIP, their services are expensive and beyond reach for many. Illnesses are excluded from the list of ailments covered by leading medical insurers in India. The Mental Health Care Act 2017 provided a corrective step with the mandate to treat mental disorders on a par with physical disorders for insurance coverage. Government schemes provided by public sector insurance companies such as the flagship Ayushman Bharat provides coverage for mental disorders. However, coverage by private insurers remains limited. Several non-governmental organizations and community movements such as Mindroot, Lone Pack, and the White Swan Foundation have been engaged in community support work for people with for people with mental illness and their caregivers. However, given the severity of this issue, this scale remains magnificent, insignificant. In the backdrop of reducing family size, increasing life expectancy, and poor institutional support, the caregiver burden in case of psychiatric illness is expected to keep worsening. The lack of tailored interventions may negatively affect caregiver well-being and patient treatment participation. A comprehensive treatment of severe psychiatric illnesses is the in the future would need building effective partnerships between healthcare professionals, informal caregivers, and psychosocial interventions where required. This is about the mental, like psychiatric caregivers, where the people who are facing mental disorders, like mental stress for them. It's a very good idea. Anyway, it's possible only in some places. Heat and state. Poor living conditions have exacerbated the effects of heat waves. Rethink the retention of sedition. UAPA fiasco in Telangana. Government takes regularly rare god action to squash indiscriminate application of UAPA law. The gender gap in clinical trials and the disease funding. Manipur violence is a deep wound in my nation's conscience. Mighty body files plea to defy hearing an appeal against order. Mighty Tribes Union had sought a review of the March 27 order, and Monday the court issued notices to the center and the state government. Shaw calls all party meet on Manipur situation. Floating mat. Armed forces mark Yoga Day across the country. Bengal Panchayat polls HC directs SC to deploy more central forces. As India seeks new LNG supplies, speculation over possibility of reviving Trump era deal. Let these read this Modi's and our Prime Minister Modi's visit to US. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying tribute to the wall of peace on the north lawns of the at the UN headquarters in the New York on Wednesday. In a tweet, he said, "We honor and remember the brave peacekeepers who gave their lives for a more peaceful world." Amid the focus on high technology and defense deals to be announced during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Washington. Experts are watching closely to see if energy deals, which were the highlight of his last big bilateral visit in 2019, will find dimension. In particular, it is for India's search for more liquefied natural gas imports in the wake of instability in Russian supplies after the war in Ukraine, as well as speculation over the revival of the 2019 agreement between Tellurian Inclusive an LNG company and Indian public sector undertakings in energy. The new deal being looked at, which follows GAIL India's expression of interest issued in February 2023, is considering a Tellurian among a number of other American LNG suppliers for long-term contracts for 1 million tons per annum, and a possible equity and stake up to 26% in a US-based LNG project. Officials said the offers are received from US LNG companies, including that from Tellurian, are under evaluation for shortlisting the most suitable offer. A GAIL spokesperson confirmed to the Hindu. Government officials, however, refused to comment on the timeline or whether any announcement could be made during Mr. Modi's visit, and Tellurian did not respond to requests for a comment. Previous visit. During Mr. Modi's previous bilateral visit in September 2019, a memorandum of understanding signed by Petronet LNG to invest 2.5 billion in Tellurian Inc.'s Driftwood LNG project had been hailed by both Mr. Modi and former US President Donald Trump at the Howdy Modi joint rally in Austin. Tellurian was one of the main sponsors of the event, and company officials at the time were upbeat about concluding the commercial agreement quickly. However, subsequently, the Petronet LNG board had expressed concerns about being tied to a fixed price on gas in, in an unstable market that was expected to drop after a number of extensions and despite interventions by the Trump administration. The Petronet Tellurian MOU was eventually terminated in 2020, restarting talks in October 2022. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Puri met Tellurian CEO Octavio Simos to start talks, a meeting that came as the Ukraine war changed the global LNG market, and disrupted Russian Gazprom LNG supplies to India. In February 2023, after GAIL India, one of the five energy PSUs companies in the joint venture agreement that make up Petronet, issued the expression of interest in contrast for LNG supplies and investing in up to 26% equity stake in LNG exporters. Speculation grew that Modi government would revive the Trump era deal with Tellurian, which exchanged notes on the evolving gas markets and opportunities for Indian oil marketing companies to invest in Tellurian projects in US. Mr. Muri had tweeted after the meeting. This is about the India US fact pact for the business. Ahead of 2024 polls, Team Kage is still a work in progress. The party president is ready to nominate new members to the Congress Working Committee. Many in the Congress have questioned the delay. Senate caucus to push for NATO plus 5 status for India. Jitin Ram Anji HAM's joins ND. India climbs 8 places to 127 in a global gender index. WF report. The country had improved by 14 percentage points from 2022 figures, marking a partial recovery towards its 2020 parity level. It had closed 64.3% of the overall gender gap, but had reached only 36.7% parity in economic participation. Government likely to pay assured pensions for its employees, says officials. 16 tigers dead in Uttarakhand since January, report sought. NHRC issues notice to Bengal government over attack on CPR. Clarification on film and censorship raises queries. MBBS curriculum sees overhaul, time limit for completion of course. Punjab law on naming DGP may pass muster. HC abuses urgent hearing on plea against Adipurush. Joyful Lord of the Earth. Ali's woe billions to rebuild Ukraine at London conference. The World Bank estimates the cost of the reconstruction at more than 200 billion, a figure rising daily alongside the human toll. Zelensky on video says his country needed action, not just pledges. 24 injured, 4 in critical state has Paris blast destroys 2 buildings. US bombers land in Sweden for training exercises for first time. At least 46 dead in gang violence. A fire at Honduras women's prison. 7 Pakistanis held for alleged role in buying migrant ship that sank off Greece. Biden equates Xi with dictators. The Chinese carrier passes through Taiwan Strait. Hard spy, Putin seeks alternative partnerships. Palestinian killed in occupied West Bank village attacked by Israel. Underwater noises heard in search for missing submersible. Industry has access to Gati Shakti portal to boost capex in connectivity. CII moves the government could share information from portal after book blocking out sensitivity data as so as to facilitate a greater private capital investments in private infrastructure projects. Data can help improve planning, especially in logistics lead sectors. Merchant to collect aspiring 200 notes from customers. India's Russian oil purchases a scale new record in May. LIC pays stake to 9.62% in state-owned miner NMDC. Parry Memsipped to set up membrane unit. India unable to fill 30% of cybersecurity jobs due to skill gap. SpiceJet settles liabilities dispute with lesser NAC. Chhatri Handi Prawl has India eases past Pakistan. This is the sports page, which is only little points were important for the point of examination. So let's go only the main highlighted points. Magician Messi to make his Inter Miami debut on July 21. Injuries, care, and selection issues hard to England, Spain of loss at adds Baston. Chetri and the floor as India is past Pakistan. Asian Games omission poses G1 and Co to ride to AIT. India reigns in Women's Emerging Asia Cup. Bopana to hand is an illustrious at Davis Cup career in September. One of the defining moments of Mikey Chirag about his combination with Satvik. The shuttler says the pressure of expectations will only help Indian badminton's prosper as the players will relish the opportunity. Kante joins Benjamin at a Hall Ittihad on 3-year deal. Needed to keep pace. India U17 football coach Fernandes. Pranay Kashyap sail into a Taipei Open pre-quarters. How silver medal winning Dinesh found his calling. India to field a strong unit at IC Rod Lavo Challenge. Cruz signs 1-year contract extension with Real Madrid. Bopana and Ebden advanced to quarters. Ronaldo scores late winner and record 200th game. Jyoti wants to improve slowly and display more consistency in both 100 million and 100 million hurdles. 100 meter and 100 meter hurdles. Sorry for economy for misreading. And the champion athlete who has worked on speed, endurance, and strength wants to continue the good show and keep the timings to the sub 13 seconds level in the latter event. Happy with my 8.09 meter in Paris than the 8.1 in Bhubaneswar, says long jumper Sri Shankar. Roots Stella show a shot in the arm for dashing England. Remembering Alex Muller for reshaping superconductors. Romantic notions of a scientific revolution will be high its profound messiness, including the risks its protagonists take. Then again, to adopt the wisdom of Subramanian Chandrasekhar greatness shows itself when scientists know which risks are worth taking. Muller, in this regard, came out on top. On this day, 390 years ago, Galileo was convicted of CSI. Physics shows how to sit at a table tennis ball spinning. The study found that they could predict the ball's rotation and movement speeds as long as they knew the angle of incidence of the ball and the surface friction. What is BBMP restructuring committee and how will it help the fast growing city? With Bengaluru growing larger each year, the committee has been given a large mandate to reimagine Bengaluru's governance and the administration. Committee has suggested that BBMP is be divided into 5 corporations with a total of 500 wards put together. Bangalore based cash prepayments introduces a CVV pre card payments. Company claims that the new feature makes checkout process faster by few 5 seconds. State police had direct senior officers to visit police stations. Superstitious students surprised the VC. The surging popularity of second-hand shopping in Bangalore. Bangalore embraces second-hand shopping trend, cost savings, sustainability, and unique style fuel the demand for pre-owned goods. The thrift culture is as much of fashion as it is of functions, especially for the hangover generation. Back to Neverland. Lokesh Kumar and Ebola proverbs are the soul of the play. Time to stretch, bandwidth. There's a lot to pages, text and context, guys. People affected by floods in Assam as the situation worsens. 1.2 lakh people were affected by the flood in Assam. So government has to look out to look on this. Additional Boeing 737 Max planes Akasha Air has discarded 4 planes. The current rank of India on the Global Gender Index, 127 awards. Too bad. Indian firms in the WEFs under promising technology startups. The rise procurement in the current marketing season. Will US Fed assume the rate hikes cycle? What is meant by pausing in rate hikes? Did the labor market get affected by the Fed rate hikes? Why did they pause the cycle suddenly? Is here a decisive slowdown in inflation? What were the factors that led to the US Fed to take such an action? What is the new collective quantified goal? What was the earlier commitment by developed countries to developing nations? Was the target achieved? Why do we need a fresh process target for climate financing? The heart of the impact and the anxiety about Vampire Mr. Dalloway. Virginia Woolf's novel is set in 1923. India is mentioned by name only a few more times, but there are enough clues to suggest that even upper class or political Londoners would have to confront reality. With the ICMR INDIAB study indicating that there are about 1 million diabetics in India. Do you know enough about diabetes to answer these questions? This is about the today newspaper reading, guys. At least read the newspaper for 40 minutes towards to better communication, to improve our better communication. So, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos related to education, healthcare, and personal interviews, especially and also related to competitive exams. Yes, see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.